Creeping through the outskirts, bout the latest lemon in the dirt. Flag gon' pull your card if you gon' nod and leave your feelings hurt. So hurt, full of pain, so ashamed. Tough like roast you bitch, gangsta black, he down with this click and pack that Mac so quick.
In the early 90s, an up-and-coming rapper from Memphis named Lil Fly would collaborate on multiple tracks with up-and-coming producers from the same area named DJ Paul and Juicy J. They would go on to call themselves 666 Mafia, consisting of various artists in the Memphis region. Some of the artists were Gangsta Black, Coops Danica, Lord Infamous, and Kingpin Skinny Pimp.
Niggas with some charges. Niggas, you don't underestimate us, we don't buy. Bullshit, the 666, bitch, I got a soul though. Walk up to your house, knock on your door, and blow your ass off.
During this time period, DJ Paul and Juicy J would release a large number of mixtapes known as the Volume Series. These mixtapes would feature incredible production from DJ Paul and Juicy J and guest verses and tracks from the 666 Mafia crew. These mixtapes would quickly boost the notoriety of the crew, which led to them releasing their first debut album, Mystic Styles, under a new group name called 36 Mafia. Also, while this was going on, Lil Fly would collaborate with DJ Paul to put out his very first album, Out the Darkness of the Cut. Tension would soon rise when DJ Paul would become in control of releasing the project. DJ Paul would give Lil Fly $1,000 for exclusive rights to his album, and he would go on to sell Fly's album independently. What made this worse is that Fly didn't get a single cut from the sales of his album, as Paul now had all the rights to it. This rightly made Fly upset and quickly led to him cutting ties with DJ Paul. When 36 Mafia released their first album, Mystic Styles, DJ Paul and Juicy J will begin to make some power moves. The album was released on DJ Paul and Juicy J's label Profit, which would later lead to them getting a distribution deal with the well-known independent label out of Memphis called Selecto Hits. This then led to many of the original 666 artists being replaced with new acts, which led to a lot of tension between the newcomers and the OGs. Also on the album Mystic Styles, Lil Fly, which has now changed his name to Playa Fly, laid down verses on this project as well and barely received any revenue from it. This eventually led to Fly cutting ties with 36 Mafia completely, and on his underground album Just Getting It On, which just so happens to be my all-time favorite Fly album, he put out a ferocious diss track aimed at 36 Mafia called Triple Bitch Mafia.
Triple bitch mafia, mafia, mafia.
He starts the track off by saying although 36 Mafia is making a lot of money now, most of it belongs to him and other artists that Paul and Juice wronged in the past.
How the fuck you bigger, you be bigger, cause you making cheese. Half this shit you making, bitch, blown the flag as the beat.
He then wastes no time at dissing each individual member.
As I heard them country rap coming from a country black, man, you sounded super whack. If I know who's behind that, price the boo, ho you through, ho I gotta get you too. Face a picture, favor, hell, ugly duckling of the crew. And to you, your handicap, bitch, yeah I'm watching ya. Please, I gonna assassinate the triple bitch mafia, mafia.
He then goes on to say, although Lord Infamous is the coolest one out the bunch, he still can't rock with him because he's down with the same crew that wronged him in the past.
Tricky Ricky Scarecrow, cooler than a bando. Riding with the triple bitch is nothing but a hoe.
He also tells a hilarious story about Juicy J's weak smoke game.
Juicy claim he's smoking square, player knowing use a lie. As we cheap the mega blunts, I thought you was about to die.
All in all, this diss track is honestly one of my favorites, as the beat is enticing and Fly's delivery is top notch.
Oh shit, homeboy, you should have seen me. Drunk at the party, drinking 50 MB. Cold fast start on my homeboy's crib, curled up on the floor like a motherfucking kid, dreaming. I was drinking some Fago in my dome pops, and here comes a tornado. The crib goes up, spinning around and round, then bam, I just landed ground.
Now before I talk about the diss track at hand, I must continue to let everyone know that I was never on the ICP hate bandwagon. In fact, I'm a huge fan of the group and have been since I was a little kid. Every time I made a little money as a kid, I would oftentimes find myself trying to collect every single Joker's card. But with all that being said, let's get into the obscure diss track. In 1997, up-and-coming rapper Eminem would plan to throw a record release party at St. Andrews Hall in Detroit, Michigan. A part of his planning process would consist of him handing out flyers to locals. While passing out flyers, he would soon run into Violent J of the Insane Clown Posse. Knowing that Violent J was having great success in his music career, he saw this as a perfect opportunity to give his flyer to someone of importance. When Eminem gave Jay his flyer, Jay would immediately become upset once he read it. The flyer read, special guest appearances, Insane Clown Posse maybe, and Eshawn maybe. When Violent J saw this, he got very upset with Eminem and asked him why he didn't consult with him first. Em replied by saying that's why he put maybe on the flyer and proceeded to ask Jay, is he coming or not? Jay replied by saying F no and balled up the flyer and launched it into the heavens. After this, some time went past, and Eminem would go on to reach great success by signing to Dr. Dre's record label Aftermath. In 1999, he would release his second studio album, the Slim Shady LP, under Dre's label, and he would also go on to go 4 times platinum. During his great success, he still held a serious grudge against ICP, as they rejected him in the past. This led to Eminem going on various radio shows to diss ICP. One of the most notable disses comes from a freestyle called Till Hell Freezes Over, where Eminem said the famous line, FICP by my CD.
Spaced out like sci-fi TV. ICP by my CD is what I'm screaming while I'm handing out promo tapes of my debut.
Once ICP became aware of the disses, they would release a diss track called Slim Anus, in which they dub over Eminem's hit song at the time, My Name Is.
Hi kids, do you like anus? I let Dr. Dre fill on my butt for a chance to be famous.
This track would really get under Eminem's skin, as he would then continue to diss ICP on his third album, Marshall Mathers LP, on a song called Marshall Mathers.
Back in too dope and silent gay, claiming Detroit when y'all live 20 miles away. And I don't need help from D12 to beat up 2 females and make up.
Many people around the world believe that once Eminem dissed ICP on this track, that he ended their career. This right here has never been the truth, as ICP would go on to release platinum and gold albums without having any major mainstream promotion or radio play. They also continued to sell out shows, and they also delved in lots of other business ventures, gaining a ton of financial success. But after Eminem released this track, ICP would then respond with the track called Nothing But a Bitch Thing, which samples the classic song by Daz called Brick, which also samples classic diss track by Ice Cube called No Vaseline, aimed at NWA. They start off the track with a hilarious mock dialogue between Dr. Dre and Eminem. They make it appear as though the only reason that Eminem got famous was because he sold his soul for fame, and one of the initiations was that M had to have sexual relations with Dr. Dre. They also throw a factoid in the mix by saying they made it big without the assistance of a well-known producer. They then go on to completely dog Eminem, saying that he's nothing but a fraud that walks around like he's tough.
With your silly ass pretty boy rap, me mugging and thugging, sitting on Dre lap.
But all in all, this diss track is definitely a gem, and ICP does a great job defending themselves against someone who is considered a lyrical titan.
Wanna know why you don't see no smile? Probably the same reason you don't see no child. What's money to a G? Ask Nino Brown. Watch Casino, since then I never keep hoes around. I just cut them and deal with them. Might even poke a face. Shot to stay in the A, and she got this stroke of shade. When you get paper, prepare yourself. It provoked the hate. Felony charges, but capital made it a lowercase.
Before I fully get into the track at hand, I must let you all know that Starlito is one of my favorite rappers in the game, as he has a lot of underrated classics. The first project I heard from Lito was Ultimate Warrior, and since then, he's always been in heavy rotation in all my playlists. But in 2017, Lito would get involved in one of the most underrated beefs in rap history. The reason I say this is because it's a beef that's very thought-provoking, as it touches on the subject of gentrification in rap. First, we have to go ahead and rewind back to 2015. Rapper, well, he doesn't like to be called rapper, even though he, raps. But anyway, Post Malone will release his smash hit, White Iverson. The record was very successful, as it would go 5 times platinum and garner over 100 million views on YouTube. Also during this time period, there were a lot of critiques about the record and music video, as many people believe he was gentrifying rap because of the song being called White Iverson. White Iverson refers to the African-American basketball player Allen Iverson, and many people saw Post Malone's music video as blackface, as a white guy is not only rapping, but he also adapted the look of said rappers via cornrows and gold teeth. Fast forward to 2017, and Post Malone shares a photo that he took with Allen Iverson on Instagram. This photo would go viral, being shared by thousands of people. In the midst of the photo being shared, Starlito got a hold of the photo and retweeted it with a very interesting message. It reads, "Bubba Chuck snuffed him and will be wired $3 million Tuesday AM when banks reopen. Hashtag extortion, hashtag #reappropriation. What Lito is basically saying in this tweet is that Iverson wasn't really down to take the picture, and after the picture was taken, Iverson punched Post Malone in the face, and Post would then wire Iverson $3 million for the track. In an interview prior, Lito was asked about the White Iverson song, and he said that he thought it was a little bit exploitive, and he also says that he's a big conspiracy theorist by saying that he doesn't think that he'll get away with making a record called Black John Stockton. He then goes on to say that Post Malone's White Iverson is no different from blackface. After Lito retweeted this picture, Post would soon respond by calling Lito ignorant, and how could he judge him if they never met? Lito would then respond by saying he just answered a question that was asked and he gave his honest opinion. Post would then go on to bring record sales into the equation, telling Lito that he never even went gold. He also reminds Lito that Iverson loved White Iverson and was cool with taking the photo. Lito then responds by asking him how mad is he by throwing more subliminal shots. Post ends the discussion by telling Lito to enjoy the rest of his already over career. After all this, Lito decided to drop a very interesting diss track in which he actually ended up naming Black John Stockton. The cover art for the track shows a drawn out Post Malone in blackface in John Stockton's Utah Jazz uniform. This is basically a portrait of how Post gentrified the rap game by using black culture such as idolizing black ball players and rap music. The track itself says that it features Post Malone, although he doesn't appear on the track. This is basically a way of Lito saying that he's the subject that this track is based off of. The track is actually Lito rapping over Russ's song Losing Control, in which he uses Russ's lyric fighting for the truth, trying to hide, but I think it's alright. He does this as a way of saying it's true that rap is being gentrified, and if you don't think so, that's cool too.
Trying to gentrify rap. I blame it on SoundCloud, still in my verses of iCloud.
Whether you agree with Lito's stance or not, it's just his opinion and he's entitled to it. He also doesn't attack Post on a personal level, as his verses are mainly about his struggles coming up in the rap game. I honestly think that this is a very genius and intelligent diss track and really deserves to be brought up in conversations alongside Lito's greatness as well.